he's attempting to make some kind of logical or economic argument about immigrant labor when he and his team have spent years making a racist argument about immigrants, telling the American people how dangerous immigrants are. And I don't know how easily you can put that racist genie back in the bottle.
Well, as long as you use a white cap, the racist genie will go back in the bottle. You can't use a black cap, you can't put them in a Coke bottle or nothing like that. You got to use Sprite. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm trouble. Hey, Maga. Let me holler at you for a second. No, I know you ain't stopped crying since that debacle of a birthday party. That was the saddest party I seen since my man's side piece had a gender reveal. You know, that was bad. That was bad as the Eagles going to the White House without Jalen Hurts. And as much as I hate to be the bearer of bad news, except when it's MAGA FAFO, did you see what your man said last week, though? Let's not let that go unaddressed, because you have some decisions that y'all need to make amongst yourselves.
Peter?
Thank you, President Trump. I have two. First, on immigration. What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Now, MAGA, if you heard your mans, he has decided that he wants to back off of his deportation fervor for the farmers and people in the hospitality industry. So far be it for me to put a little extra salt on that mental pretzel you now have to twist yourself into to make sense of all of this, because it was mass deportation, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, see, here is the thing, and this is why I want us all to be very sober in our approach to this with you, MAGA, because my heart goes out to the racist voter. At a time like this, we have to hold space for the racist voter that is now seeing all of his racist ideals just poof up in smoke. And I can only imagine how sensitive the internet is about to be. Oh, wait, we're not going to do any of that, because let's first address the fact that Trump, upon realizing the ramifications of his actions, decided to back away. Now, let me keep this in mind, right? Because I have talked about the ramifications of mass deportation right here on this channel.
When farmers can't find people to harvest their crop, oftentimes their crop just doesn't go harvested. It rots in the field. So we've gotten used to having abundant food, available food. We're going to have to get used to some limitations if the plans of this administration go forward.
And now look where we at. Farm workers ditch shifts amid ICE raid fears as food prices set to skyrocket. Now, there's lots of different ways that we process the find out phase from Maga. Some are gleeful, some are infuriating. This is on the infuriating side of things because we all gonna have to pay for this. Yeah, it ain't no not my fault discount that I get at the grocery store when we fighting over the last grapefruit. But you mean to tell me we have a man sitting in the Oval Office who's not getting the same briefs that you're getting? The people that are watching my channel are better educated about the ramifications of Trump policy than Trump. You remember when you was a kid and you just see a bunch of buttons in front of you and you just felt the need to push them just to see what happens? That's how our government is being operated, like a toddler in a new space. That is what we got going on. Is there a way that we could send my videos just to Trump just for his briefs? At least give him access to that information. And MAGA, don't think I'm going to let you off the hook for voting for a man who's operating like this, because we had an inkling he was operating like this the first time when you put him in charge of the controls and you decided to bring him back. Now, I wonder what could have possibly possessed them to bring a guy back who conducts his business this way.
It was never about immigration. It was always about white supremacy. And President Trump just proved it. As soon as mostly white, wealthy farmers and hotel owners had their exploitative labor practices threatened, Trump flipped like that.
He sure enough did. And how about making a point to mention all of the hard work and how integral the immigrants' labor is to these farmers and these hotel chains and to our overall economy. You know, the kind of rhetoric you heard none of all throughout the campaign. Again, this is another one of those times where I wish I had a second merch shop. You know what I mean? Because they will buy anything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If they gonna buy that, it's no wonder why they got all that Trump merch in their crib. You know, they probably lining up to pre-order the Trump phone using their last SNAP benefits before that gets cut off. Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
First of all, man, you gotta love that design. The vertically brushed gold with the big T on it. Man, they really know what they're doing design-wise. But if we go down to the specs, first of all, storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM. That's not what storage is. Memory, which is RAM, says 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Sick. Okay, we've got a punch hole AMOLED. That's an actual thing. Congratulations. Also for security, in-screen fingerprint sensor plus AI face unlock. Yeah, so that's not secure at all. Do you want a camera taking a picture of your face and it getting processed on an AI server to see if it's you? Even if it's on device, that's sketchy as all hell. Then we get to the cameras. Our main camera is 50 megapixels, but the depth sensor and the macro lens are 2 megapixels? What is this, 2009? The front camera supposedly is 16. And then if we go down here, the battery, 5,000 milliamp hours. But on the subject of battery, over here in the key features section, you'll notice it says 5,000 milliamp hour long life camera. Okay. That's not how cameras work at all. No, of course, I'm not going to suggest that they just went onto AliExpress and bought a phone with a triple camera setup that also conveniently has a 6.8-inch display, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, a 5,000 milliamp hour long life camera, and a very similar looking punch hole with 3 cameras on the back. They definitely did not just buy something almost exactly like this and mark it up like 10 times. Because of course, according to the Trump organization, these phones will eventually be made in America, even though no phone in the entire world currently is. So I believe them. I believe all of that.
Yeah, if I order a Trump phone, does that mean I don't have to pay the bill? Well, I'm just saying in the spirit of Trump, I should make you have to sue me in order to get your funds. And then had the nerve to double down on it with this True Social post. Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. In many cases, the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open borders policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming. Now, this was my favorite, though. And I love a tiny True Social post where I can say this was my favorite because it was multiple insane things stated. Did you just say that the criminals that were being invited in by Biden's very stupid border policy are applying for those jobs? Is that what you're saying? You saying that the criminals or the cartels are en masse applying for these jobs because the actual workers have been deported, but the cartels that have evaded deportation are en masse flooding these jobs and applying? Like, that's literally what you wrote in your True Social post. And let's also keep in mind that things that nonsensical and illogical just go ignored because of how often you post them. Yeah, I was looking for a researcher. Next thing I know, I get 12 dudes flood into my lobby with bandanas and tattoos, flashing gang signs. I said, what's going on? Yeah, they took everything. They took the laptops. They took the... I did hire the one dude, though. Yeah, because he was he was loud and he was like the leader. So I felt like that's the kind of initiative that I need on my channel.
We have some breaking news. Trump just signaled he's willing to soften his immigration policy, but only for farmers and hotels. On Truth Social, Trump said his very aggressive immigration policies are causing problems for farmers and the hospitality industry, because longtime undocumented workers are being removed and the jobs can't be filled. In his words, our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming. This is the first real signal that Trump is considering exceptions, especially for the industries that rely on undocumented workers. Big picture is this: Trump still wants mass deportation, ICE raids, quotas, and the whole package, but now he's floating possible work permits or legal loopholes for farmers and hotels can't operate without undocumented labor. In other words, he may go easier on the immigrants who pick our food while still deporting those who don't have economic backers.
Now, how about this point? So you decide that you want to back off for the farmers and for the hospitality industry, the industries that are reliant, so you say, on immigrant labor. So we've completely done away with that whole America first, bring back America's jobs, right? That's completely gone by the wayside. So if I'm following, then the people that would not qualify for this kind of loophole, the people that are still asked to adhere to this aggressive deportation stance, would be the immigrants that have found themselves employed in industries that aren't reliant upon immigrant labor. So like the ones that have infiltrated spaces and shown themselves to have certain skills that can sit eye to eye with anybody else who we have. So those are the people that you want to remove. But the industries that have made their profits by ignoring American workers so that they can pay less are the ones that will be protected. Is that?
It was never about immigration. It was always about white supremacy. Cut to Stephen Miller dry heaving in the corner. How is MAGA going to react to this, y'all? It is very clear that the problem Trump created is getting out of control. And so now he's going to change course. He's attempting to make some kind of logical or economic argument about immigrant labor when he and his team have spent years making a racist argument about immigrants, telling the American people how dangerous immigrants are. And I don't know how easily you can put that racist genie back in the bottle.
Well, as long as you use a white cap, the racist genie will go back in the bottle. You can't use a black cap, you can't put them in a Coke bottle or nothing like that. You got to use Sprite for the racist genie. But that is a great question that she has raised, because he's absolutely been making the racist case, prosecuting the racist case to the point that we have had no shortage of videos about Latinos for Trump finding out because of how blatantly racist he was and how they rolled out this mass deportation policy. But speaking of racism, what needs the black jobs that they were supposedly taking? Remember he said the black jobs, they come and they're taking the black jobs, and then the black MAGAs came and defended it. They finally protected my sharecropper position. The black MAGAs came out the woods to defend him saying and characterizing low-wage jobs as black jobs. Well, how you going to twist yourself now that all of a sudden he decided he didn't care about the so-called black jobs? Like, I dragged him for his characterization of what is a black job, but let's go with what y'all said at the time about making sure that these jobs are available to Americans. How's that? You know what I mean? How's that mental gymnastics going? I would love to know. Not really. I don't want to see Jason Whitlock flip at all. I take that back. Go ahead. Notice how all the big conservatives' accounts are congratulating Trump. Trump has backed down from mass deportations. Trump has agreed to invite 500,000 Chinese immigrants. Why is MAGA acting like this is a victory for them? You've been conned. All that happened was increased division, increased hate, increased bigotry. Big success for the 0.1%. That sounds pretty damn accurate to me, and I've seen nothing but big victories for the 0.1%, with the single exception of the tariffs. But of course, we had to go ahead and roll that back for the 0.1%. And MAGA really thought it was about them. They really thought it was a populist movement. I think Steve Bannon is still thinking that. But to be fair, his hearing ain't the best because of the hair situation he got going on. But right now is a time I need you, MAGA, and specifically the racist MAGA. I need the racist MAGA to just check in with me, you know what I mean? And let me know, I just want to figure out where you're at with all of this. Like Muslim ban flip-flop, Trump now backs off deportation force. If he's not careful, he may lose the racist vote too. Trump is walking back on his attempt to circumvent immigration. That's going to be hard to do because he's convinced his populist base every non-white person is an illegal. On top of that, Proud Boy ICE is still camping out in immigration courts, abducting people, getting papers. So apparently, the same way as we had all that content flood the timeline during 2020 and thereafter about educating people on their rights, apparently the same thing needs to happen with regards to ICE and the Proud Boys out here camping out, still grifting somehow. I don't even think the church approved that. I don't think the church that owns the Proud Boys approved what they got going on right now. Now because they about to be excommunicated. That's what's about to happen right now. They gotta find a new church home. Don't come in here like that. Well, they gotta clean the choir stalls then before they come back. Apparently, the thing to say if you find yourself accosted by ICE or whatever Proud Boys rejects or trying to abscond with you is to say you work at a farm or in hospitality. And then you are marked safe. So says the president.
They say illegal versus legal immigration. They are trying to end legal status in the United States as well. Correct, Governor Pritzker, with the end of TPS and making people undocumented by removing legal status, ending legal status, and then having the audacity to call them illegal when they were here documented, correct?
Taking students' visas away from people, taking their legal right to be in the United States away from them when they've been granted maybe years earlier to stay.
So I don't want to hear about how this is about illegal versus legal immigration. They are attacking legal status and removing legal status. The Republican majority is anti-legal immigration in the United States. And I want to make that very clear.
And yes, that is correct. These are legal and illegal immigrants that have been targeted and attacked. Y'all racist MAGAs thought y'all was slick. You did. Yeah, but hey, you put your trust in the wrong one. Hey, how you get them is how you lose them. That's what my mama always told me. Actually, that's what she used to always tell my exes after they moved on. Oh, here come the racists. Trump now walking back deportation policy to accommodate for illegals. We've officially lost the plot.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood.
Just imagine using a Stephen A. Smith clip to express your racism. Just actually, that makes sense. Yes, we gave the GOP control of the House and Senate, and they won't pass any legislation to make DOGE cuts permanent, immigration laws, or on tariffs. They expect Trump to do it, and Trump always talks tough, then backs off. They're all screwing the taxpayer. Yeah, we is doing a lot of work there. What you mean we? We did not put them in charge. We do not watch Fox News like it is a live reading of the Bible. We have facts and basic logic. That's us.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Trump folded again. Illegal immigration is allowed back in the U.S. as long as you are useful to rich people. As long as you're helping some local farmer or you're helping some big hotel chain, it's okay now. So Trump's got your back, all the illegal immigrants. Trump's here for you. Bullshit aside, I voted for Trump, and this is not what the American people wanted or what we voted for. Illegal is illegal. It doesn't matter who you're helping. If you're here illegally, you're a criminal. If you're in any other country illegally, they will kick you out. If you're lucky, you might just go to prison. There can't be any middle ground. So Trump has folded. He has folded to the mob who basically said, you have to make a change. We're going to impeach you. We're going to kill you, or you need to make a change because what's going on is not going to work. And guess what? Just like COVID, he folded. Same thing happened in COVID with all the lockdowns and stuff, which was the most tyrannical act in U.S. history. Trump folded there too. He listened to all his advisors that said, we need to lock down the country. Oh my God, everybody's going to die, blah, blah, blah. So Trump was like, okay, we'll lock down the country, take away everybody's rights. Don't worry about it. And same thing's happening here. It's just very sad to see. I had big hopes for Trump this time. I thought he would make a big change. I thought he had balls big enough to stand up against the swamp, as he calls it, but not anymore. So come on back, illegal immigrants. As long as you're helping rich people, you're okay by Trump.
I kind of like that. Come on back, illegal immigrants. You're okay by Trump. That would make some good merch. I know how much y'all like merch, MAGA. I'm just trying to help y'all out. I know how much y'all like merch. Now, as much as it is a fool's errand to try and follow the logic of MAGA, and specifically the racist wing of MAGA, I know that's a fool's errand. This man said illegal was illegal, and doing the bidding of rich people after he voted for Trump, who was propped up by Elon Musk. The man said I had high hopes for Trump the second time after he disappointed me the first time. This who we dealing with. And then his vote count the same as mine. I I bet he voted with that same hat on, and he ain't even took it off. They done got to Stephen Miller. How are we allowing this? I understand there's a real human issue in deporting people who have been here for 20 plus, but Trump speaking and publicly capitulating to entire industries that facilitate illegal immigration is appalling. This is not the time to back off. Far be it for me to ever defend Steve Miller for anything, but he's going through a tough time right now. Yeah, it makes sense why he hasn't responded to your tweets. No, it's you know what I mean? Keep them in your jokes. Things are not going well inside the Senate GOP meeting with Stephen Miller, per sources. Senator Ron Johnson and Miller got into a shouting match over the border security funding number. Johnson said Miller's numbers don't add up. Lots of GOP senators leaving the room frustrated. Trump backing off on mass deportation with today's statement about longtime good workers. Deportation budget not needed, and neither is Stephen Miller. That's tough. Yeah. I remember I lost my job and had a breakup like back to back like that. It's a good opportunity to find yourself. Stephen Miller, you should check out my Way of Waters channel. It might be, you know, deep breaths and meditation. You know what I mean? Just know that meditation is for all people. It's not like America.
The cartels are gone. The criminal migrants are gone. The gangs are gone. America is for Americans and Americans only.
Yeah, we might want to scrub that off the internet right there. Yeah, we don't. Turned out to not to be the case. But I understand why y'all were trying to sell that, you know, to the racist MAGA base. But you know, that's why they mad. You know, that's why they mad. It's no wonder why they came out in full force the way they did. Right-wing MAGA wasn't having it. Matt Walsh banned all third world immigration, legal or illegal. There should be a moratorium on all immigration from the third world. We've reached our capacity. We cannot be the world's soup kitchen anymore. It's time to ban third world immigration, legal or illegal. We've reached our limit. And we have a huge cultural, educational, housing, financial, and essential services problem to fix now. Because of it, we need a net zero immigration moratorium with a ban on all third worlders. That from Charlie Kirk. And then we get Jack Posobiec. It's time to ban third world immigration, legal or illegal. We've reached our limit and have a huge cultural, educational, housing, financial. And essential services problem to fix. He didn't change nothing. We need a net zero immigration moratorium with a ban on all third world. I mean, at least put it in your own words. You know what I mean? Now that's just lazy. That was just copied and pasted right from the Substack, like right from the racist Substack. You know what I mean? I remember when social media was about unique content. Not no more. You know what I mean? This is what they do. And also, let's not let this go unaddressed. We're banning immigration, legal or illegal, because of where the person comes from. The third world. The third world. Even people who come here legally, who have some sort of legitimate claim to be here, cannot be because it's from the third world. One more again.
It was never about immigration. It was always about white supremacy.
Yeah. We may have to revisit that.
Major reversal, everybody. Great job. This is excellent news. We'll see if it's true. Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good, long-time workers away from them. Duh. With those jobs being almost impossible to replace. Oh, really? In many cases, the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open borders policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming. Isn't this what we've been saying this whole time? This whole time. I wonder who finally got to him. Someone got to him, because this is not him. Someone got to him, and he listened. I wonder who it was.
I'll tell you who got to him. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Jackson. I don't know any presidents on any bigger bills than that. Sorry. They put Taft on a bill. You know, because he was big. Now he's backpedaling on deporting immigrants, not out of compassion, but because farmers need workers and people are mad. Classic narcissist move. Cause chaos and then flip to look like the hero. It's not leadership, it's damage control for his ego. Aha. Just as when Elon Musk was crashing out about the big beautiful bill, and we had to make a point to note, while his opposition is significant and welcome, let's frame it in the proper way. He's not opposing in order to save people's health care and quality of life. He wanted bigger cuts. In this instance, Trump is not capitulating out of humanity. Trump is capitulating so that 0.1% can continue their exploitative labor practices. And these are people that he rolls with because he's been there. Let's keep that in mind. So this dude done doubled down on the taco in order to protect his rich buddies and making a fool out of racist Maga. I love it. I love it. Would that technically be a Taco Supreme? Would he be a Taco Supreme right now? Or at least Doritos Locos or something? Why would you support Trump if you're using illegal work off illegal immigrants' backs to run your businesses? That's like a slave owner saying, I voted to free the slaves, and now I have none to work the fields, crops, children, etc. It was morally wrong, but it made you a profit. Oh, okay. Which brings us to the $64,000 question, or if you were paying to get into Trump's party free. Did these people have any inkling that this reversal was coming down the pipe? These people got saved and protected, even though the rhetoric that was being put out all throughout the campaign ran contrary to what was in their best interest. We always understood that this MAGA coalition was unstable because you had people apparently willfully ignoring all of the wealth and passed down wealth too. It willfully ignoring all of the wealth that had coalesced around Trump as if somehow their interests were aligned. This was always something that was wildly combustible. So what it appears is that either that 0.1%, those richest folks, either voted against their own best interest to the detriment of their own businesses and the preservation of their wealth and somehow got bailed out by Trump, or he used racist MAGA to get elected so that he could do the bidding of the 0.1%. And all of this was performative. Now, if you're trying to decide, right, between the two, you just gotta look at his history, look at his legislating and see who has benefited most through his actions. I know. Yeah, racist MAGA, I would actually hold support. I would do a support thing for you, but then because of the racism, you know what I mean? So I can't lead it. But maybe we do like a Zoom thing and I turn the camera off, something like that. Cause I can code switch pretty good. You know what I mean? I went to a PW institutions, most of my entire life. I worked in corporate America. I'll be all right. Yeah. This is gonna be good. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thanks so much for watching the video. Yes, that's right. Your boy is back from vacation, feeling refreshed and ready to go.
So I'm gonna get on this plane or not?
Yes, you do.
All right. Yeah. So everyone's gonna shut up, and we're gonna say this once, and we're only gonna say it again because we're frustrated as hell.
And that definitely means you should be on the lookout for some new Way of Waters content. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to my second channel at Way of Waters. But while I was gone, y'all definitely held me down, and I appreciate that. I've mentioned before that I premiere all my videos, but did you know it actually gives me a ranking of who's doing the most work in the chat? They done messed around and passed Miss Ray. Shout out to All Things Go. I see Nick Adams, Non-Point in here, Patricia Jackson, Yolanda Gibson, Carney, my man Dank, I know Regina, I'm Just Jay, Roberta, and Alice in Kenzo Land. I see Honey Love, Jamal, Kat, Quentin, Tammy, Katrine, and Muriel rounding out the top 20.
Never could have made it without you.
I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors.
Make sure you be on the lookout for notifications when I schedule my video releases and my premieres so you can rise up that leaderboard. And while we're on the topic of support, I gotta show some love to the Mod Squad. No, not that Mod Squad. I'm talking about our Mod Squad. That is Mariana, Dank, Deshauna, Roberta, Free Me, Larry, Chernobyl, and of course, Miss Ray, who have made this channel a place where so many people feel comfortable being themselves, expressing, sharing, growing, and learning together. And I, for one, am eternally grateful to all of you for your contribution.